welcome to another episode of Ask Me Anything. I am your host, Adam KN6QGV with BridgeCon Systems. And tonight we are going to actually go over setting up the SkyBridge. So we're actually going to, as you can see behind me, we have a raw configuration. We are actually going to go over the whole complete configuration and some of the other features we have done in some previous videos, as well as, if we have some time, maybe go over a little APRS. Now, these are things that people have requested, so that is why I'm bringing them to you guys here tonight. So again, if you guys have any ideas or things you want us to do for shows, please let us know. Call us up. That's our tech line. You guys can reach us there tomorrow as well. Leave a message tonight if you guys called, and we'd be happy to hear your guys' ideas, and we can provide you guys with more shows like this. All right, so now before we begin, if you guys haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. Hit that bell so you get notified when we're up and live. And we are actually going to start by welcoming people. Good evening, Denny from Oklahoma, KI5UWC. We got Gary, WD8PRS from Springfield, Ohio. We got Freddie, KD5FMU from Oklahoma. We got Chuck from Micronesia. Hope I said that right. 4G1DXT, welcome. We got Kevin in San Antonio, Texas, KI5VEL. Welcome. Charlie from New Jersey, KD2YAN. We got Wes from Dawson Springs, Kentucky, and that is KF4WLQ. Welcome. Chuck from Crystal River, Florida, that is WA4PEQ. Welcome. Stanley from Virginia, we got KO4RET. Welcome. We got Bradley from Edina, Minnesota, KF0BJW. Welcome. We got Bob from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, KB4NHM. Wow, we're getting a good amount of people in here tonight. Good evening from Ontario, Canada, Gills. That is VE3NPI. Getting some international people in here tonight, which is nice. We got Garnett from Central Florida, KN4URT. Welcome. We got Kurt from Missouri, KF0CQN. Kathy, it's nice to see you again. From Illinois, KB9NRX. We got Bob, W3BOO. We got that one already. We got Dave from Kentucky, KQ4BXB. We got Royce, KI5RYF from Texas. It's nice to see you here, Royce. Richard from Simpsonville, South Carolina, KA3JCA. Welcome. We got Greg from Tennessee, KB3AIC. Welcome. We got Ted from Clarkston, Minnesota, N8ZSA. Bob's from Albany, New York. Okay, W3BOO, welcome again. We got Bob, WG1C from San Antonio, Texas. We got James from Florida, KN4UJW. We got Don from Las Vegas, KK7DMT. Not sure which Las Vegas that is, so welcome. Cliff from Charlotte. We got K4JIP. And we got the Fellowship Presbyterian Church, W4CL from Greensboro, North Carolina. Welcome. We got Dave, KC8BWX from Minnesota. And we got Matt, KF0ICI from Kansas. Welcome. Okay, we got Gerald. Hey, Gerald, nice to see you. 9Z4G in Trinidad. It's nice to actually see you from down there. Nice to see you joining us. We got Bruce, K5MNR from Texas. Stevie Boy's here, KF0HSC. Welcome. And we got Matthew here, KE4NIP from North Carolina. We got Robert, KM4LLW from North Carolina as well. We got Robin, KD4MPI, Oklahoma City, I think that is. We got Robert from Virginia. Welcome. We got William, howdy, KA0TTF from Colorado Springs. And we got Bob, AD0XE from Aurora, Colorado. Greg, K4PGD from Florida. Dennis from Jonesboro, KI5UDY. Welcome. Let's see, Greg from Melbourne, Australia, VK3ND. Welcome. Another international. Love seeing all the international folks here. I love it. We got Charles. We got W4CL from Greensboro, North Carolina. Welcome. Jerry from Vancouver, Washington. We got KJ7NZB. Welcome. Dennis, KK7X. Welcome. And that is about it. We're going to start wrapping up and get into our show tonight. I want to welcome everyone to the show. Yeah, it's a pleasure being here. I love doing this, and I hope you guys get some good questions from me tonight. But without any ado, we're actually going to start. We actually have our Ham Shack Redemption. Whoops. Let's see if we can take that off. We have our Ham Shack Redemption giveaway going on right now. We have a few days left on this, so if you guys would like, make sure you shoot on over there and enter this giveaway. We are giving away a 878 UV2 Plus, our 578 UV3 Plus, a SkyBridge Plus. We have the Duracom power supply, the acoustic ear tube. We have the battery eliminator, the speaker mic, the car charger, the leather case, and an extra battery. So that is a $2,100 value sale we have. I mean, giveaway we're going on there. So if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you get your last entries in before that contest is over. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're actually just going to jump right into my screen here. And we have a fresh configuration going on here. So as everyone can see, I will go to the dashboard. No mode is defined. We have a brand new, like this is just out of the box. You just bought it from us, didn't get any of the plug and play. We're going to go through that whole configuration process with you right now to make sure everyone understands how to set this up. Now, we aren't going to do the conventional MMDVM configuration where we just select Brandmeister. We're actually going to pre-configure this with DMR Gateway so that way we can actually set this up, pre-configure this for if you wanted to add in TGIF or another network or some of those other things, like your own private network or something you're connecting into. Okay, to start here, we're actually going to start by making sure we're on MMDVM host. and simplex node. So we're just doing a basic configuration here, nothing fancy today. We're going to come here and put in our call sign. We're going to put in the frequency that we want to use. So in this case, it's going to be 446.550.000. Now, on the Pi-Stars interface, they do require the double periods for the frequency. So make sure you put in both those periods, and they are set up by 3s. Now, we could skip the longitude and latitude. If you want to search yours and put those in, more than welcome to, but for this configuration, there's no desire. Now, I like to set mine up as public. We have multiple people over here that do use the same hotspot. So we set it up to public, so it's not just locked down to my ID, which you will see here in a minute when we actually restart this a couple times. You'll end up seeing me put in my DMR ID. Now, if my radio DMR ID does not actually match the ID that's in the Pi-Star, then it will actually block us from communicating with the device. So we want to make sure that we have this set to public. So if you have 2 IDs, you and your wife share it, you have friends that come over and use it, you're in an office building and you're sharing it with people. These are all things, reasons why you would want to set it to public. Now, as this is not my first hotspot here, you will see me set it up. And this is actually where, coming up here in a minute, I'm going to show you with the ESSID how to do this so that you can distinguish between your 2 hotspots and know which one you're controlling. So we will switch over to the Brandmeister interface and show you all this. Now, APRS, since we may be doing that a little bit later here, let's make sure we have this set up. So we're going to make sure it's enabled. Now, rotate will switch through each one of these APRS servers. You can do that. It's not necessary. I like to choose whichever server you are closest to use. So for me, it would be North America. For some people, it might be South America, Europe, Asia. This is like Australia, New Zealand. And then I'm not exactly sure what this last one is. I'm being honest. But I'm going to come over here to APRS for NOAM for North America. Los Angeles is where I'm at, so I'm in the right time zone. And I'm going to make sure that this comes to US English. Now we're just going to click apply here. Now it takes a minute and you're going to notice that it disappears and comes back. That's the hotspot reconfiguring itself. So the configuration we just put in or applied is getting saved. Now it's reading that configuration back from the device, and it's adding in the additional fields for the settings that we have set. So now what we're going to do is you're going to notice that we have this MMDVM host configuration available now. Now this is important for 2 things. One, we're going to enable DMR mode here so we actually can get onto the servers. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to come down to our display. Now the display on your actual device will not work if you have this incorrect. It might just say initializing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what the general configuration is for the SkyBridge. So we're going to go to NextDN. We're going to set the port type here to modem. And we're going to come to the NextDN layout and we're going to do OD7 LDS L3. So now with that being set, we're also going to come down here to the general configuration area. And we're going to actually now, if you see right here, before we didn't have this, we have radio/modem type. What we're going to do here is we're actually going to come down into this drop-down list. Now you could type up here and just type Sky and it'll show up. Or you can manually scroll down, go through the whole list. You can see some other ones. So if you don't have a SkyBridge, you got a Zoom spot or something, you can actually select those as well, as you see. And here's our SkyBridge. So we're going to select that. Now, if you are going to be out and about, I would recommend doing this GPS enabled. That just helps with getting your location as well as providing some other benefits for APRS when you're communicating over the network. So once these changes apply, okay, so you're going to notice because I am public, it's saying you're running in public mode without an access list. We're going to ignore that for now because that is nothing that has any concern right now. But if they're talking about there is if you have multiple hotspots configured and they're all using like the same color code and frequencies, you can actually cause loops in the system. That's part of what I'm going through here and why I'm going to explain some of these settings here. But now first thing, excuse me, we need to do is we need to set our DMR ID. So for me, I just set mine. Now, if we had an access list that we uploaded, we could put it, we put that name here, and that'll grab that from our configuration, but we're not making that. It's the same type of list that you would get from radioid.net for your radios. Just the difference is that it's a list you make with your friends who's available. But we can cover that in another episode in the future. So now what we're going to do is we're actually have this DMR configuration mode now, since last time we enabled it up here. It added this window down here. We're actually going to select the option DMR Gateway. Now, this is a reason I have multiple hotspots here. SkyBridges that we usually set them to 1, but I'm going to set this one to 3 so as it doesn't bother or interact with the other one that I have here as they are on the same frequencies. And we're going to click Apply. And now what this is going to do is it's going to restart and it's going to give us a whole bunch of options here in our actual DMR configuration. Now, if you guys have any questions, make sure you write them down so we can actually comment back and actually get them later on. But here we go. Now that we're in DMR configuration mode, what we're going to do is we're actually going to select our Brandmeister master. So for me, it's 3104. I'm going to put in my password. Now this is where I was talking about the ESS ID. This is an extended service identifier. So what this is going to do is this is going to add a 2-digit code after your DMR ID. Now that I have 2 hotspots set up right now, this is going to be number 2. And we're going to select Enable. As you can see down here, color code is still 3. And we're going to click Apply. Now make sure you guys don't save your password or anything here because this is not the password that we're saving. If you want to save the original password for logging in, pi star and raspberry, RASPBERRY. Remember the silent P, people. I miss it sometimes and I'm like, why can't I log in? I go, oh yeah, got to get that P in there. So let's make sure that we all remember that one. I sometimes have to write a sticky note right there for me. So I always save that just because it saves the aggravation of having to remember that sometimes. Okay, so now as we can see, we should have our DMR up. So let's just try a pair it real quick. KN6QGV, this is a test. QGV, this is a test. There we go. So as you can see, we are now connected to Brandmeister's network, and we have successfully connected to the Parrot. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to come over to our configuration, and we're going to start making some expert changes here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start from the left. And we're going to start here in the Pi-Star remote. We're going to go enable to true. Make sure it's all lowercase. I'm going to come to our call sign. Make sure this is in uppercase. And we're going to come down to DMR where it says shutdown. And we're going to remove the hashtag or the pound sign or the number sign, whatever you want to call it. We're going to remove that from in front of shutdown. And we're going to apply the changes. That's a quick apply. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come over to BM API for the Brandmeister API. And we're going to go over to Brandmeister, click on our name. If you haven't already, make sure you log in and click on Profile Settings. See, it's making me log in. It's timed out. Again, on our name, Profile Settings. Okay, API keys. Give it a name. Now what it's going to do is it's going to give you this QR code. It's also going to give you this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on copy. Now make sure you leave this open while we're still in this view, because if you close this, you will not be able to see this code again. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on this. I'm going to apply, paste it, apply. Refresh the page. There's my API key. Now when I come to admin, we now have our Brandmeister control right here. This is actually really nice for those of you who don't know. This actually allows you to, so now we can close this because that works. This actually allows you, so I can come here and I don't have to actually go to my device every time. It actually allows you to change all these settings directly right here in your Pi-Star dashboard. You could drop your current call, drop all dynamic. You can add static. So let's just say we want to add 3100. Click modify. And in a matter of seconds, 3100 is now a talk group that's static. To remove it, it's the same thing. As you can see, now we're getting traffic right here on 3100 coming in. So say we want to remove it, come here, go to delete. Click on modify. And it's gone. Now there is one last configuration I do like to do. I like to come here on the CSS tool, change this banner 137A4D, and click apply, and we get our nice green here. Alrighty. With that being said, do we have any questions? Does the DMR actually extend range of communication, say 2 miles to 20 miles, etc.? Well, the thing about DMR is that it actually, in a sense, it could go more than 20 miles, but you're not broadcasting directly 20 miles. The way it works is you have something like a SkyBridge, as you guys can see here. So we have our SkyBridge that you would communicate in, and as you can see, there's a network cable here. and that is connected to the internet, and that connects to the Brandmeister network. And theoretically, I could speak to someone anywhere around the world. Now, as far as distance, it's usually based off of the repeater that you're connecting to and the power that you're transmitting at. So those two play effect into how you will communicate out and about in the real world. If they have a high transmission, you may be able to receive, but if you don't have a high power of transmission rate to them, you may not be able to hit them. I know I was hitting a repeater about 20 miles away, and I was just using one of these. I have two of them here, one with the long antenna, one with the short one, just testing out the difference between them. And they both work great. So, again, it all depends on where you are. I'm in LA, so certain areas, are just flat and open. Sometimes when you go downtown, you don't get the greatest service because of all the buildings. Everything plays into effect. Do you have a lot of trees around you? Are there mountains? That would all take into effect as well as to how far your range will go. So on a perfect, ideal environment, yeah, 20 miles, you can go. On a reality with where people live, could be 15, could be 10. It depends on the population that you're in and the area. But that was a great question. Where can I find all the AMA videos? And I want to review all the answers. The AMAs are on our YouTube channel. So you can actually log in at any time onto YouTube and search Bridgecom Systems AMA, and you'll find all our videos. As far as for show notes, we're still working on that. I'm working on trying to make some for all the future ones. We're trying to backlog and get all the other ones. So we will work on trying to get all this for you. Let me, Jeremy and I will take some notes here, and we'll try and expedite that process a little bit so we can get that going. Why not enter an SSID? Are you talking for like Wi-Fi? I could show you guys how to do an SSID real quick for Wi-Fi. Give me a second. Let me get the mouse over here. There we go. If you guys wanted to configure your Wi-Fi, I'm actually going to come down here. I have this one pre-configured. When you do a factory reset, it doesn't always wipe out your Wi-Fi configuration. So I have two set up here. The first one is actually my cell phone. The second one is my home network. Now, if we wanted to add a network, I'll come over here. We'll click on add scan for network. It's going to take about 10 seconds. Okay, so what we could do is I'll just click on this one right here. We'll put in a password. I don't even know which the password is for this, so I'll just make something up. And we'll click Save and Connect, which I'm not going to actually do because this is not a network I want on my thing right now. So you would hit Save and Connect, and that will bring you back to this info right here. Now, it won't say the interface is up. It will not. Now, I need to make this really clear to people. The number one reason that we get calls when people set up Wi-Fi and say it doesn't work is that if you have a major issue with the Pi-Star, this will more than likely fix it for a lot of issues. All right. Reboot the device. That's it. Now, what I mean by that is sometimes what happens is some of these services start up at the beginning, and if you don't actually have them enabled then, they won't actually start. So some of these advanced things, you got to reboot the device, starts working. I know in order for me to probably send the kill command through the radio to here with, let's see if this one has it. No, this one doesn't. This one probably does. HS shutdown. Hopefully my thing can, there we go. So if you guys could see this, this would actually shut down the hotspot if I was to initiate that to the thing, that talk group. In order for that to work with the configuration I just set up, I did leave out that one part. We need to restart the device. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to actually come over to the device. We're going to come up top. We're going to go to power and hit reboot. Now this gateway, because obviously it does take about 90 seconds, a minute and a half for this to actually come back up. So you have to wait a minute here while this reboots, and we're going to wait for that to come up. Now, while we wait, if you guys haven't done so already, and you guys do like what you're seeing, make sure you guys like and subscribe. That does help us, and that tells me that you guys are appreciating and liking what we're providing for you. And if you have any comments, let us know down below about what you guys would like to see in there in future videos. And if you also have any ideas or anything, don't be hesitant to actually call us and let us know what your ideas are. If you have one, let us know. Our number is 636-264-8325. All of us are ready, and we'll be willing to, take down a long list if you have a long list. We love hearing what you guys want. I do know here we are going to be changing things up here a little bit in the future, and we're going to be trying some new things here from this show. So if you guys are interested in being one of the members, I will bring out a link next week so you guys can sign up if you're interested, where we'll actually bring you into the show. We'll sit down with you. We'll talk. You can tell us your experience. We can go over an issue you guys have, and you could be a member of the show, get you guys involved. So if that's something you guys think you might be interested in, I'll have a form next week that you guys can fill out and actually say, hey, I want to be on the show. We're gonna try something new. We want to try something that's going to interact with you guys more and get you guys a little bit more involved. I do know, we will be building antennas in the future too. So I'm going to take you guys down that road, and I'm going to take you guys down the rabbit hole. If you do not have your amateur radio license, to get your amateur radio license, and if you already do have your amateur radio license, I'm going to take you on the road to get that extra. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit that bell so you guys get all of that content. We want to make sure you guys get logged in for that. Okay, so this should be starting back up any second now. Let's see. There we go. Device is now back up and running. All right, let's go on to the next one. Can you use the same frequency for two hotspots as long as you have 01, 02? Michael, yes and no. Yes, you can use the same hotspot. You actually are missing one setting there, and I will go back here to show you. On your configuration, like I mentioned earlier, one of my hotspots is set to color code 1. So I set this one to color code 3. Color codes, now just for you guys out there who don't know, color codes are similar to like PL tones. So this would be like not an encryption, but a tone that would separate you from everyone else. It's like making a little group. So color codes do that so that way you can have multiple ones on the same frequencies and everything, and they don't interfere with each other that way. They know what they're looking for and they ignore everything else. So make sure you also say if you're going to be doing that. DMR Plus is actually a different type of network out there. It's an extension of DMR that has reflectors and gateways and servers that you actually have to type in and connect to. It's a little bit more complicated. I haven't dove deep into that yet. That is one of the future things that I am looking into getting into and figuring out so I can explain it all to you guys in better, fashion and understanding. But as of right now, I don't have a good understanding of it too much, but we will bring you some more information on that here shortly. Can you please explain the loop danger of public and a bit more? Well, if you have multiple hotspots there and they all are open, it'll actually allow your voice to come through multiple pathways, and then they'll collide with each other, and then it won't know how to get back to you. It can actually cause some networks actually crash, some servers and other things. So you might want to just stay away from that. That other, wait, can I show you what it looks like in the self-care pile? Okay, well, you keep switching the question on me. Back to where we were. Sorry about that. With DMR Plus, back to that, we can't, okay. We already answered that. Back to, we were on the loop. This is where we were. Sorry. Okay. So in order to prevent broken paths or broken routes to you, what you got to realize is you're connecting essentially to a phone server. Now, what happens when you connect 5 phones to the same line? It gets confused as to where the call's going, if someone's on the line, different things like that. So, you know, you can cause other loops and other things where you talk once and then it'll loop back and talk again and talk again and talk again. And then it creates like an endless loop of just like an echo of yourself over on itself as well. It's another thing that can happen. So these are, I would just make sure you try to prevent it as much as possible. I haven't really messed with it too much because I don't want to get into it because I can crash the servers. You can do it if you do things like that. I would just say if you hear some other problems like a loop or an echo or things like that, check to make sure that you don't actually have something like that wrong. I might be able to, you know, give you a better explanation over the phone. I just don't have all my things in front of me. I'm doing this off the top of my head. I am new to the whole Pi-Star operation. Where can I find more info on it? Pi-Star.uk. Pi-Star.uk is the main website for Pi-Star. So if you need anything about Pi-Star, configurations, different networks they're on, things like that, I would suggest going there. They have a great resource. They have some configurations, talk groups, other things. I use it regularly. And actually, I will bring it up on my computer here for you guys to see. So they got just an explanation here. They got some information. What is Pi-Star? Who makes it? They got some tools. So here we go. Brandmeister, DMR Plus, TGIF, Free DMR, System X. So these are some of the main ones that they support. Now it's not just that. You got YSF. So if you're into Fusion, P25, if you got the Motorola's, NXDN, as well as download. So if you want to download Pi-Star, here's the latest versions. Just make sure you download the appropriate one, as well as the default password and username for all Pi-Star devices. Here's a guide right here that shows you how to image it for Mac, Windows, and Linux. You can also find some other resources. I believe they have a wiki on here as well somewhere that you can actually go through as well. So if you want to learn some of the more advanced features, like some of the things I'm doing on the back end, learning also how to do some of the SSH commands. Careful with doing SSH commands though, because you are going right into the back end of the system and you can mess it up if you're not careful. But that is where you would find the most information about Pi-Star. The other option is searching YouTube. I always suggest that. You'll find tons of videos on there from everyone. I know we have a bunch. Jason Ham Radio 2.0 has some, and there are a handful of others out there as well. So you can search those and use it, you know, find out what you need. If you had something specific as to what you're trying to accomplish with it, maybe we can help you with that too. But in a general reference, pystar.uk is a great source to actually go to. Have you done the DMR gateway, and will this work with an IC 5100? Yeah, we did do the DMR gateway. I could come back and show you where it is. Give me a second. I'm trying to get behind. Oh my God, come on. All right, we're gonna have to try this a different way. There we go. Okay, so this is our basic DMR gateway configuration. We didn't do anything special. We didn't add any extra like TGIF or anything like that. But this does open the door for us configuring a whole bunch of other networks. Let's see. Actually, I can show you one last thing. So if we come to expert, DMR gateway, you notice as I come down here, Brandmeister 3100 with my ID 02. So it's just a general config. It puts it in there. And then if I wanted to, we can come down here and we can actually go like this. And start building our link to TGIF. But we're not doing that today. We've done that in a previous video. I was just doing a basic setup of the Pystar and the SkyBridge, and that's how it works. As for the 5100, the 5100A has to be TX and RX to the hotspot, and then they choose what reflector you want to use. The hotspot will not be controlled by the radio. So just make sure you know that the radio will not actually control this hotspots, and you're going to have to manually set those reflectors and everything. Hope that was able to answer your question. Can the SkyBridge be used to configure to use a Wi-Fi that is not currently in range, so it could be pre-configured? It should theoretically be able to. And when you get close to it, it should be able to connect to it, but you may need to actually reconfigure it while you're there. And the only reason I say that is because sometimes it downloads and writes the security into the device. It needs to know what mode it's actually using for encryptions. So yes, it may work. I'm not 100% sure, but I would double check that in both places, because you could test it, but I'm not going to give you a 100% guarantee, yeah, it will work. I can't do that because it may not. I do know because each wireless network does use different encryptions. For the longest time, Pystar did not even support 5 gigahertz, and it also did not support AES. Now it supports both. So that in itself is a one of the limitations. So I don't know. It was a limitation before, so I'm not sure if it still is. Can you show me what it looks like self-care? Yeah. So if we come over here to Brandmeister, let me get my mouse a little laggy. Okay, so what we're going to do is when we're logged into our device, to our Brandmeister network, we're going to come over to services and self-care. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure it's either Motorola or ETSI, Echo Tango Sierra India, right there. Then the other thing we want to make sure we do is set our hotspot password right here. I always tell people, don't try and do something complicated. Try and do something easy. Do a fruit, do a color, your favorite car, do a place. Do something simple, nothing too complicated, all lower cases, and you should be fine. If you do like a PIN number or things like that, I've noticed Brandmeister doesn't tend to like that. If you use the word test or password or one of these simple things like that, that's used everywhere or posted all over the internet, they won't allow it. So make sure you guys choose something that's easy and to use and all of that, that's not too complicated, because the more complicated it gets, then the network starts to get really laggy and finicky and they don't communicate well. I've noticed that it might say it's connected, but you might not always get a connection when you have those complicated passwords. So best option, go simple. Can we monitor DMR without the equipment prior to purchase? A good way. Well, yes and no. If you have a scanner, you can probably monitor some DMR. That's only going to pick up though whatever talk groups are active on those repeaters that it's hitting. You can turn on Digimonitor so you can hear what is going on your repeaters near you. But the reality is, if you want to monitor a certain channel or something, what we would do is we'd actually come back here to our portal. We go to our device. Let me get my mouse over here. So we'll come to our hotspot and we're actually going to set static talk groups right here. So if we wanted to, 3100, bam, that's now static. USA Bridge. So now whatever traffic's coming in on that, so let's actually do also 91 worldwide. I'm bound to get some traffic here. There we go. It's on 31. I'm not on that channel, so let's see. Oh, someone was about to talk. As you can see, the data is now coming through. So I didn't even key up. I didn't do anything. All I'm doing is now listening through there, and that's what we're getting.
What is he monitoring? 3100.
And there was Jeremy. All right. Now, if you guys like and subscribe. There we go. Got some conversations going.
Good evening, Miss Kathy. How you doing this evening?
Gerald, we're going to actually contact us and we'll help you with that. I don't have those instructions on me right now. And Echolink is a little bit more confusing to actually set up. So we would be more than happy to help you assist you with that. If you want to email me tomorrow or call me tomorrow, you know, we always talk. I'm more than happy to help you with that. Second question, does the SkyBridge connect to Wi-Fi and Ethernet? Yes, this is actually connected to both. So as you guys can see on the configuration, I come down here, it says interface up 2.159. And if I come to my screen here, you guys will see that says 2.157. So they are on the same network. I could disconnect the Ethernet and we'd still be connected. So I prefer Ethernet always. I was just doing that as a setup for someone to show them how to actually set up Wi-Fi on their device. That was for a tech call. That's why my Wi-Fi is set up in there. All right. Well, I'd like to thank everyone. If you guys do like what we're doing, make sure, again, I'm going to say this again, and you're going to hear me say it over and over, like and subscribe. We are coming to about an hour. I do appreciate all the questions this evening from everyone. If you do like our show, again, we appreciate you guys coming out every week. Send us some information about what you guys want to see. We would love to start providing you guys with some more information and shows like this. You know, we want to provide you guys with data you want to see in shows. This morning, I just got asked by a bunch of people, can you do this? And we put this show together. So, you know, that's exactly how it goes. We want to make sure we tailor towards you guys. Now, on behalf of everyone here at Bridgecom Systems, I'm Adam, KN6QGV, with Jeremy, KD5YUZ. We want to say 73, and thank you for showing up. Have a great evening.